Good afternoon and welcome to the BJTC Awards for 2020, coming to you from the BBC studios in Birmingham. Today we're celebrating the best journalism from amongst our 4,000 students who've continued to create outstanding stories despite all the challenges of lockdown and COVID-19 restrictions. As you see and hear the work of our finalists today, we'd love you to show your support in the comments below or by clicking on the like button. They may not be able to hear your applause, but your social media love will let them feel your appreciation. Now, before we get started, we have a few words from the chairman of the BJTC, Ralph Bernard.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ralph Bernard, the chairman of the BJTC, and I want to welcome you all here today to this virtual awards ceremony, somewhat unusual. But in our careers, we spend hours on end staring at screens. But this is a bit odd for me to be looking at a screen today rather than looking at your smiling faces. But I do hope nonetheless that you all enjoy the programme, and we look forward to interacting with you virtually as you congratulate your colleagues, your students, your friends, or maybe even yourself. Now, the BJTC Awards have been running for over 40 years, and it's the highlight of our year. It's a chance for us to celebrate the amazing work all across our accredited courses, and for you to get your work noticed by industry as you embark upon your careers. As you know, the BJTC is sponsored and supported by all the top industry bodies, and these include the BBC, Sky, Global, Bauer, Channel 4, ITV, the NUJ, Reuters, ITN and Associated Press, and we welcome representatives from all these companies to this live feed today, and I thank you for your continued support, particularly during these unsettling times. It's through this support actually that the BJTC exists, and we are able to progress, getting up to date, relevant standards implemented, that they reflect industry practices and they ensure excellent work that you'll be seeing here today. It's also allowed us to provide support to our students. This year, we launched the Placement Assistance Scheme, backed by Google News Initiative, the BBC, ITV and the BJTC. The scheme provides financial support to those who would most benefit from it to enable them to go on to industry placements, which is such an essential part of training. The scheme's launch was extremely successful, and we're delighted to have just launched the second placement assistance scheme for this academic year. Although we'd all prefer a live event, let's be frank, where we can meet and chat to each other in a more social manner, I suppose there is one advantage in having an event like this in this way. It means that there's no need to limit the numbers who can attend, and we hope that you have gathered your friends and relatives, teachers and colleagues to this special programme. I particularly want to thank the BBC for hosting this today, to Trish Adudu, Stuart Thomas, James Porter, Louise Briley and all of the production team for taking time out of their very busy schedules to ensure that this event could go ahead in the best way possible. We'd also like to thank our judges, all of them, for their time and effort in looking through what is actually the third highest overall entry level that we've ever had, expertly chaired for the third year running by Richard Frediani. Finally, we want to thank our course leaders who've guided their students through a very challenging year. Those of you that know the BJTC Awards will notice that we've added an extra category this year, exclusively I hope for this year only, the Best Virtual News Day. These have been trying times for us all, but we know that our courses, the staff and students have adapted and risen to the challenges, and we are extremely excited to be able to celebrate that today. Just before we get on with the main event, I want to say a short word about our great Chief Executive, John Goodell. He'd normally be here leading this event. Some of you may know that John has been very seriously ill over the past couple of months and can't be with us today. However, I am absolutely delighted to say that he's now out of hospital, where he was for a couple of months, making a great recovery. And although he won't be back for some weeks yet, I did speak to him last week, gave him strict orders not to get involved in any work. But I know that he's tuned into this stream, and it's really. I'm thrilled that you're able to do this, John. So hi to you, and I'm really pleased that you're on the mend, and I know you'll be back leading this event next year. So all that's left for me to say is to congratulate you for getting this far. Those who have been shortlisted, along with the other special guests, will have all been invited to an exclusive online after party following this live stream, so we're looking forward to seeing you there. We really encourage you to take this opportunity to network with people from the industry who were once where you are now. They're keen to meet you. They're keen to talk to you about your career plans. We'd also encourage lots of supportive interaction in the comments section below during this live stream. And I am sure that your fellow students will be delighted to see that you're with them in spirit as we showcase their work.
And thanks to Ralph for those words. Now, just in case you were wondering, my name is Elizabeth Glinka and I'm stepping in for Trisha Dudu, who is a bit under the weather today. Just like you, my journalism training was on a course accredited by the BJTC, and now more than ever, that training is absolutely vital. A lot of the stuff I learnt I've used over and over again, from my very first job as a BA on Radio 4's Farming Today, to being a news presenter, a correspondent on Newsnight, and now a political editor. The essentials remain the same. In the age of fake news, everyone has an iPhone and an opinion. But what your training gives you is a foundation in ethics, law and rigorous impartiality, something that'll guide you as you strive to help people tell their stories, challenge authority and hopefully find the truth. All right, enough from me. And I'm very pleased to say that joining me on the sofa today is the editor of BBC Breakfast and the chair of the judges for the BJTC Awards, Richard Frediani, who how could I mess that up? Given that, as we are now going to discuss, you like to be known as Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie's the nom de plume I go under.
OK, so we're going to go with that.
We'll go with
if
that.
I can get it out, if I can actually say it. OK, so let's start talking about the entries that you received this year, the quality of them, I guess.
Yeah, it's been an unprecedented year in an unprecedented academic time, and the challenge facing both the students and the lecturers to just get through that academic year has been huge, and therefore to see the quality of entries that we've had this year has been really heartening, and that's been commented on by many of the judges, and indeed some of the categories were very, very difficult to just get it to this shortlist.
So it is a big achievement then, isn't it, just to even be nominated?
Yeah, it's often sort of said at all types of awards that obviously somebody has to win and other people end up just being nominees, but don't underplay any of that. To get this far is a fantastic achievement that every single individual or team who has been shortlisted should be very, very proud of the work. And indeed, it's the sort of thing that if you put it on your CV when you apply for those roles in this industry, it's the sort of thing that people who are looking to interview you or possibly hire you in the future, it is one of those things that people will look at, because the judges, as I think Ralph was indicating, have been drawn from all the major broadcasters, from Sky, from ITV News, from ITN, from the BBC, from independent sectors, from Bauer, Global, AP, Channel 4. We could go on, right? And therefore, those people have looked at this work, suggested what should be in the shortlist, and therefore you are already on their radar if you've been shortlisted. So whether you end up to win or as a nominee, you should be very proud.
Yeah, absolutely. You should all be very proud of yourselves. And on that note, let's get on with the first category, Best TV News Report. The first nominees are Katie O'Toole and Rachel Mather from City University of London with Sex Work Strike 2020. Described by the judges as a strong, well-structured report, making the most of good visuals and interviewees. This is followed by the second nomination, also from City University, Petrana Zemanova and Adriano Marola Marotta, with their report on a family's plight when their nursery suddenly closes. The judges said closure of Camden nurseries immediately grabs the audience's attention, covers lots of good angles and includes well-filmed pictures. Well, let's have a look.
Sex workers in Soho are striking for decriminalisation in their industry. They believe current UK laws and the recommendations to outlaw paying for sex, made by the all-party parliamentary group on prostitution, will drive sex work underground and increase violence.
So we completely disagree with the all-party parliamentary group. First of all, they say that criminalising clients will stop prostitution, which it absolutely won't. There's no evidence of that in the other countries where it's been implemented.
These views are supported by studies from the East London Project. Their research on the impact of police enforcement against sex work in Hackney, Tower Hamlets and Newham found criminalising clients forced prostitutes into isolated environments and left them more vulnerable. Our request for comment from the all-party parliamentary group on these findings went unanswered.
What do you do at your nursery?
This is one of Mila's happy places, but her favourite is Gospel Oak Nursery. Her mother, Yami, expected dialogue from the council's consultation, but instead, a month on, she's been met with silence.
We've not heard anything, so it really could just be that the nursery is shut in the summer and then we've got no places for September. It's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of uncertainty, so obviously I feel anxious knowing that there could be a point where my daughter hasn't got a nursery place. It would be a big downgrade from what she's at now, and any of the ones that I'd like her to go to are either at full capacity or they're not accepting children for other reasons.
We want to save and protect our nurseries.
If Constam, Kilburn Grange, Gospel Oak and Hampton Nursery close, 190 children could be without council-run childcare and 40 people without jobs.
And the winner is, drumroll, Freddie, drumroll, go, let's... And the winner is, if I can open it, Petrana Zemanova and Adriano Marola Marotta with Closure of Camden Nurseries. Congratulations to both of you. Fantastic. Well done. Right, now it's the time to turn to Best Radio News Report, which has a bit of a theme to it, with both of our nominees finding inspiration in coffee shops. First, you'll hear from Stephen Collins from the University of Sheffield with his piece Sunshine and Smiles, challenging preconceptions of Down syndrome. The judges said a potentially difficult subject is given excellent and sensitive treatment, with Stephen showing a great rapport with his interviewee while delivering a relatable message. Special mention is made of the use of sound effects during the report. And the second nomination is for Sophia Miller and Julie Esvan from City University of London with their report, The Barista School, Tackling Unemployment, described by the judges as engaging with great use of sound effects, tackling the serious subject of youth unemployment in a fun and engaging way. Let's have a listen.
Aelith hopes that the training and work experience provided in the cafe will lead to job opportunities for young adults, both now and in the future. And if tasting is believing, my new friend Lauren is guaranteed a job for life.
I learned to make coffees and hot chocolates.
And can you tell me a little bit about what you put on top of my coffee? Is something you did with chocolate sprinkles on top?
Yeah, sunshine.
Sunshine, I love that. Lauren is 20 years old and has Down syndrome. She works in the cafe 2 days a week and tells me that she's made some really close friends with the rest of the team.
It's going to be my birthday on the 80th of March.
And what birthday is this?
It's going to be mine and I might be 21.
21? What do you think you'd like to do for your birthday?
I'm deciding I'm going to do like a buffet at Grandad's. We might be having fireworks.
Wow, that's going to be good fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do not trust myself with these very scary looking coffee machines, so I'm asking barista trainer Ashifa to show me how it's done.
So I just ground out some fresh coffee and I put it through the espresso machine and I ran the shot for a set number of seconds because that is the amount I know that will make my coffee taste good, which is my goal.
That's so good. This is the kind of thing students learn throughout the course to help them become coffee experts and find a job. Sis graduated in September.
Now that I've got so much experience under my belt, basically I can go in and demand what I want. But at the time I didn't know. You know, oh my gosh, I'm only working part-time, how's it going to work? My age is going to be against me. I did go to the job centre, but randomly on social media I saw their ads and they gave me an opportunity.
Classes are starting at the King's Cross Academy tomorrow to help a new set of coffee lovers find employment.
Right, let's see who takes the honours. The award if I can get into it. The award goes to City University of London, Sophia Miller and Julie Esvan, the Barista School tackling unemployment. So well done to them. Big claps to all of them. Well done to the team. Now, moving on to... Oh, we have a message from a judge now. Let's take a listen.
Hi everyone, it's Lindsay here from Global in the Midlands. I judged the radio report category. I really enjoyed it actually. Some really exciting new talent coming up through the ranks. Congratulations to those finalists, congratulations to everyone tonight, and we look forward to having you possibly working here soon at Global.
Fantastic. Thank you to Lindsay from Global there. Now, moving on to Best TV Feature, which was a strong category. We ended up with 3 finalists instead of the usual 2. Our first entry by Emma Fitzgerald from the University of Leeds looks at the safety issues related to smart motorways. The judges said it is an exceptional piece of TV, including brilliant case studies giving powerful accounts of their experiences. Emma sourced a variety of strong footage, including from the police, and despite the need to film interviews via video calls, she was able to maintain the emotional impact. The second piece you'll see comes from City University of London, When Sex Games Go Wrong. It's by Caitlin Kelly, Katie Dennison and Victoria Hudson Grant. The judges were impressed by the difficult-to-source case studies and the original research conducted by the team. The judges find this a piece that is powerful and bold and would do well on many mainstream media outlets. And the final nominee is Michael Saliba from the University of Sheffield with his documentary The Murder of Daphne Caruana Galizia. The judges commend the simple, effective storytelling, saying that at times the piece is very moving. Let's take a look.
As the 2 men stood in front of their vehicles to exchange details, a lorry hit the back. Both of them were killed.
You see so many people on the news saying, we just don't want this to happen to anybody else. And now it's me.
Instead of a hard shoulder, smart motorways do have emergency refuge areas, but these can be up to 2.5 miles apart. And this is the problem that Jason faced. If you need to stop and you're between 2 refuge areas, you're put in massive danger.
If you do not reach a refuge area, you are going to have to come to a standstill as far left as you possibly can. Once you do that, you should exit the vehicle to the left, get yourself over the barrier and call 999.
But there is a huge section of society that this overlooks.
He said he wanted to get rid of the safe word.
Which is obviously quite a bold step in any BDSM book.
Yeah, I mean, considering I barely knew this guy as well. But to get rid of the safe word would mean that I wouldn't be able to make a situation end if I was uncomfortable. Sometimes it can be sort of done responsibly, but I'd say the culture around it is toxic. Because the internet, Tumblr, Instagram, you've got, accounts which posts sort of things which are supposed to be kind of aspirational, but they're actually really dangerous.
But danger in the bedroom is not uncommon, as our survey was supported by research that suggests 38% of women under 40 have experienced unwanted violence during consensual sex. Our survey showed this is not limited to heterosexual relationships, as Emily May told me.
How much has changed, do you feel, especially since January? Obviously, I know Ms. Kat's no longer Prime Minister, but how much do you feel has actually changed?
Nothing.
There are people who refuse to believe that their party has done anything, or even if they do believe it, they don't care because it's their party, and as long as they're in power, they don't care. They're happy. It's like when you support a football team, you don't stop supporting it because it makes a mistake or it does something stupid. Yeah, you support it regardless because it's your team. And this is politics in Malta. If it's my party in power, I don't care what they do. As long as they're in power, I'm happy. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, the most followed television news service is the one provided by the Labour Party. And there is no discussion here that on their medium, that Daphne Caruana Galizia got any worse than she deserved.
Some great work there. And from this incredibly strong field, the winner is the team from City University. Congratulations to Caitlin Kelly, Katie Dennison and Victoria Hudson Grant. Well done to them. Clapping. Very good.
Applause.
Yes, well done. Right. Now, the next category is Best Radio Feature. And Richard, this was a tough one for the judges, wasn't it?
Yeah, more than 40 entries. It's always an incredibly popular category, this one. Some really high calibre quality in there. I was looking at the notes this morning and one of the judges described it as ear-catching stories told with skill and brilliance that made you stop and listen. As we saw in that previous category, some categories ended up with 3 on the shortlist.
Yeah, you keep doing that. Well, I think there's a theme developing.
There is.
Right, and all 3 of the nominees in this category are from Goldsmiths, City of London. We're going to hear first from Faiza Hakim with her piece, The Journey Home. A compelling listen, said the judges. It's the story of Hasnain, born a woman in Pakistan, but always feeling he was a man. Faiza allows Hasnain to tell the story of his rejection by his family and his country. The judges drawing attention to Faiza's use of music and perfect editing. The second feature you'll hear comes from Phoebe McIndoe. The judges call It's All Right an absolutely stunning soundscape. Fascinating first-person storytelling which uses modern editing techniques to add to the story and make it even more compelling. And our third piece is called Nothing Is Forever by Emily Naylor, a piece that made one of the judges actually cry. They say it's a moving piece about memories and love, an emotional feature that everyone can relate to. Let's have a listen. But a warning that one of these pieces contains some very strong language at one point, so it's not suitable for any children.
I think around 6 months or 7 months ago, I knew that I needed to medically transition for me to be happy. I mean, I would always want them to be a part of my life, but I can't change my plan. I told him that, I want to get surgery and I want to start hormones. And he was like, you can do whatever you want after we die. What he cares most about is his reputation. And my mom's concern is more motherly, being that, I don't want you to cut off your body, which is to me more understandable than my dad's concern. Basically, he'd rather be dead than see me happy. Since then, I haven't talked to my parents. I can't transition in Pakistan. There probably won't be many surgeons who'd be willing to perform this surgery because of their own religious beliefs.
He was just pounding the door again and again, saying, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna fucking kill you, I'm gonna kill you. I didn't know where I was going. I just ran. Left my mum and ran. Thinking, please, somebody help me. I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna fucking kill you, I'm gonna kill you. I didn't know where I was going. I just ran. I had run into the bathroom and locked the door. I heard shouting before I really knew what was going on. He was just pounding the door again and again, saying, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna fucking kill you, I'm gonna fucking kill you, and he just kept on repeating it over and over.
So my dad had been in hospital for quite a few weeks, up to and over Christmas 2017, and he'd come home, and really he'd come home to die, and that was a very mixed time in terms of there'd been positive experience, lots of positive experiences.
Enjoy an ice lolly as much as Grandpa in his for the last 2 weeks.
And it also been quite gruelling because
or anybody be as
you're very aware of how the story ends.
This really is so kind.
There was one moment when my dad recognised who I was and kind of looked me in the eyes and addressed me by name, and that felt like a little gift, actually.
I was so conscious when he was dead that he looked so, sounds preposterous, but all his sort of strength of character was somehow there. It was, those last hours were special.
And now it's time to find out the winner from more than 40 entries. And it is Faiza Hakim with The Journey Home. Congratulations to you, Faiza, and to your fellow Goldsmiths finalists for some absolutely fabulous work. We should do some clapping again, shouldn't we?
Round of applause to all of them.
Yeah, we don't want the clapping to drop off.
No.
as the award ceremony goes on, so we'll try and maintain that. Yeah, absolutely. Now, as you know, we are hosting tonight's awards from BBC Birmingham, and before we continue, the head of the Midlands at the BBC, Stuart Thomas, who was also one of the judges, offers his good wishes to all of the finalists.
Hi everyone, I'm really proud that we're hosting the BJTC Awards at the BBC in Birmingham this year, even if it has had to be a virtual event and we can't share a drink and a chat in person. I thought the entries this year were extraordinarily strong. I really enjoyed the judging. I thought there was a great diverse range of both topics and production techniques, and it's a really strong shortlist. Good luck with whatever is next for you, and well done.
Fantastic. Thanks, Stuart. Right, it's time now for the Best TV Documentary, always a popular category. And once again, the judges have come up with 3 nominees instead of 2, haven't they?
We're going to have to crack down on the judges. They're clearly not
Get a bit
sticking
tougher
to
on
the
them.
brief. There should only be 2, but that in itself is a tribute to the entrants, because to end up with 3 is because the judges just couldn't decide which one to leave out. So it was a thoroughly enjoyable experience. Some superb films, many of them of broadcast quality.
Absolutely. Now, our first nominee is Matthew Leon from Cardiff Metropolitan University with Rugby Union, The Invisible Injury. The judges feel this documentary, looking at concussion in rugby, is professionally put together with a snappy, succinct script. They highlight the impactful use of pace, allowing for the emotion to come through. This is followed by Sophia Miller and Catherine Schuster-Bruce from City University of London. Their documentary, Tinnitus, Hearing Alarm Bells, explores the rise of tinnitus in young people. Here, the judges commented on the strong narrative, a good variety of voices, and how well the piece works visually. And number 3 takes a look at how new food technologies are being developed to help feed the world's growing population. The judges commend Gabriel Toner from London South Bank University for his bold graphics, strong picture sequences, and smart editing. That's Future Food, the 3rd of this set of nominations. Let's have a watch.
Adam is about to undertake one final test. This will establish the speed at which blood flows through the middle cerebral artery. This helps provide the brain with enough oxygen to function and control the body. Data has shown that players present with impaired cerebral blood flow following a concussion, so a good result after this test might just indicate improvement in the 2 years that Adam has not played rugby.
We've all got this transtemporal window. The transtemporal window itself is like a narrowing of the bone in the skull, and that allows us to ultimately fire the ultrasound beam through it. Okay. But if it's thicker, then the ultrasound beam can't pass through it, and that's some of the issues that we've had, particularly with rugby players, is obviously if they've been in the scrums a lot, in particular, then we see that they typically present with greater calcification. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, if you keep looking straight ahead for me, we're just going to try and locate this signal on the side of your head.
It's a sound in your ear when nothing's there.
One high-pitched sort of in there, and it almost makes you lose your balance.
It's a hidden problem, which means that people can sometimes suffer in silence.
Tinnitus is on the rise in young people. Before, it was associated with old age, but as modern life gets noisier and we plug in more, our ears are paying the price, with 1.1 billion young people at risk of hearing loss. That's nearly 15% of the world's population.
Same with anyone that gets tinnitus, suddenly it becomes serious.
And it's not just our ears that are taking the hit.
People's fear is that tinnitus will drive them mad.
And once it's there, it could be there forever.
In the book Food Foolish, authors John Mandick and Eric Schultz translate that statistic into relatable terms. Imagine buying 3 bags of groceries, or driving home, toss half of one bag onto the road. That represents the loss that occurs during harvest, processing and distribution. arrive home and immediately toss the other half of the bag into the trash. That's the waste experienced by retailers and consumers. James Rogers is the CEO and founder of Appeal Sciences, a Californian tech startup backed by the Bill Gates Foundation, who have developed an edible spray coating that, when applied to fruit and vegetables, massively slows down the rate of spoilage, promising to dramatically reduce food waste along the entire supply chain.
The product itself is plant oils. So they're found in literally every bite of fruit and vegetable that you eat every single day.
And the winner is... So, who is it? It is City University's Sophia Miller and Catherine Schuster-Bruce with tinnitus, hearing alarm bells. Congratulations to Sophia and Catherine. Well done.
Superb work.
OK. Right, now it's radio's turn to impress in the Best Radio Documentary category with finalist number 1 coming from the University of South Wales. Dan Moffat takes us to Barry Island, 10 years on from the much-loved TV series Gavin and Stacey, where he wonders what impact the show has had on those who live there. The judges highlight Dan's outstanding editing and great use of on-location sound effects, and they find his coverage of a woman who credits the show for helping her depression both unexpected and heartwarming. Our second nomination is from Stephen Toner of Goldsmiths University of London, a piece intriguingly entitled Variphenophilia, or How I Tried to Learn to Stop Worrying and Cut My Beard. In this piece, Stephen reflects on the loss of his mother through the stories of friends and relatives, and the judges are impressed by the sense of place and the way Stephen draws the listener into the world he creates, as well as his warm and engaging presentation style. Let's have a listen.
During the filming and showing of Season 2 in 2008, Glenda had the idea to open her doors to fans of the show, with her house becoming somewhat of a shrine to Gavin and Stacey.
It was the second year when people started knocking on the door. I thought, back then I thought I might as well open up. That's what I done. They were never rude. Sometimes I get a bottle of wine, sometimes I get flowers, and they just loved it.
And you've got 10 books. There's thousands of signatures. Is there a figure of the amount of people that you think have visited the house?
What's been counted in 9 years is 29,000. This year hasn't been counted yet.
And if you could sit down with the cast and with the crew and with the production company and say something to them, what would you say?
Hey, thank you.
Daddy died in 64, so I came back home to Mummy in 65.
65.
And I'm here ever since.
Are you going to be making any more noise in there? Because I was about to start recording in here. So, do you want a hammer?
I'm just about to bring the tea in.
Okay. Well, sure, just see if you can keep the banging to a minimum.
I can remember being out playing in the lawn with Reg, and your mum was born inside, a Tully boy.
And can you remember what your first impressions were?
Oh, a lovely wee girl. A lovely wee girl, maybe with a strange name. I'd never heard the name before. It came from Lord Farnham estate. Today there is the big Farnham Hotel on the estate, and they were people called Maxwells.
Right.
Captain Maxwell, and his daughter was Verena.
And the judge's final decision goes to Stephen Toner from Goldsmiths. Congratulations, Stephen. Very well done to you. Now we're going to hear from another one of the judges.
I'd like to say a big well done to all the nominees at the awards today. You've produced really strong work during the biggest news story of our generation, and you should be really proud of your efforts. It was a real pleasure to judge these awards. Good luck for the future.
That's nice, isn't it? Now, let's move on to our next category. The best social short is for those short caption videos we all watch on our mobile phones. Our first finalists are Charlie Phillips and Rhiannon Burton from Cardiff Metropolitan University with Cardiff Clash Rugby, described by the judges as a fantastic and creative edit. They point out the high production skills making it a fun watch that many clubs would use. The second nomination, I Am Not a Virus, from Siwei Chung and Beatrice Bandera, has a strong story that's creatively and powerfully shot and edited. Because these are shorts, we get to watch them in their entirety. Enjoy these two nominations, though please note there is some strong language in the second piece.
Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, yo. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name. Like, he doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard. Fort Minor, M. Shinoda, Styles of Beyond, Ryu, Top Beer, Machine Shop.
I am Essence, an international student, and I come from China, Wuhan.
The city at
So
the
far,
heart of a public health crisis in China.
1,916 cases of new coronavirus pneumonia have been diagnosed, and 905 deaths, of which 681 have occurred in Wuhan, my city. Wuhan is still locked down, and my family has been at home for 19 days. I called my mom and let her take care. I told her I'm fine in London, but things seem to be changing gradually. On January 31st, a Chinese student in Sheffield was wearing a mask and rode to school, and she was verbally abused by 3 people. They asked her why was she wearing a mask and does she have a problem. I thought it was still far away from me. On February 2nd, in Oxford Circus in London, a group of teenagers rushed to my friend. Are you Chinese? Stay away from us. The next day, I went to store and I saw a notice on the door. We don't accept Chinese customers for coronavirus. Finally, it comes to me. Coronavirus now seems to be a Chinese virus. When I walk in on the street, because of my face, the mask always attracts people's attention. But you know what? I'm scared too. I'm afraid of viruses, but I'm not a virus.
And the winner is Siwei Chung and Beatrice Bandera from the University of Westminster with I Am Not a Virus. Well done to both of you. Fantastic. Now it's time for this year's new category, a reaction to the times that we find ourselves in. And Freddie, you're going to tell us about this, aren't you?
Yeah, this is Virtual News Day. Who would have thought 8 months ago that Zoom, Skype, FaceTime and many more platforms would be part of our daily work, and indeed some of the frustrations that we've had too. They're both a challenge, but it's also presented us with an opportunity, and it's real credit to the entrants how they embraced it and used it to produce some really fantastic content from home and abroad.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's have a look at our 2 nominees. First is Leeds Trinity University with their Newsday from May this year, which the judges said included a strong and varied selection of reports compiled by students at home. It was well put together with a range of topics and issues covered. Next, we go to the University of South Wales with their Newsday on May the 20th, which the judges commended for a genuinely exclusive story that made national news. The team explained the background and context of the story with a range of contributors. Other stories from reporters in countries such as Denmark, Sweden, the Czech Republic and the USA gave the bulletin an international feel. Let's have a look.
Zoe Peck reports.
Access to green spaces is a privilege, now more than ever. But emergency services in Leeds are saying they're receiving more and more calls relating to people having fires in their garden.
Many people are passing the time in isolation with activities such as gardening and DIY. But the suspension of brown bin collection by Leeds City Council has led to more people burning garden waste. West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service has released a statement on their Facebook page asking people to be considerate when thinking of having a fire. They said, "Not only can fires easily get out of control and take up our time, The smoke increases air pollution and makes it hard for people with respiratory illnesses to breathe. Pete Tatham, coordinator of community gardening group Hyde Park Source in Leeds, says there are alternatives to burning garden waste.
With garden waste, it decomposes a lot quicker if you can shred it, or at least cut it up in some way.
Prynawn da a chroeso I Bwletin Newyddion Atrium Live. Good afternoon and welcome to Atrium Live with me, Thomas Salmon, in Dinas Cross, Pembrokeshire, Wales.
And me, Emilia Kjellop, in Viborg, Denmark. Today we'll bring you the latest update from around the world during this COVID-19 pandemic.
We start off here in Wales, where one of our fellow students has been hitting the headlines by breaking a story in The Sun that's caused a huge amount of political debate. The Welsh Health Minister was accused of breaking his own lockdown rules. Our political reporter, Dan Moffat, has been following the story.
So a controversial story to come out of Wales last week was the article in a national newspaper showing Welsh Health Minister Vaughan Gething having a picnic. Now, the person who broke the story to the national newspaper was our first-year journalism student, Emily Price. So, Emily, first of all, just tell me how you covered the story.
A member of the public actually sent me the photo of Vaughan Gething, of him in Cardiff Bay having a picnic with his family.
Well, let's see who the judges decided on for the winner. Oh. And it is the University of South Wales. Well done to the team, and good luck with all your future news days, virtual or otherwise. That was very well done. I didn't clap enough.
Brilliant.
Well done. Well done,
Very
team.
good.
That was very, very good.
Give the scoops to me next time.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take them. We'll have them. Right, it's time for some sport now with the Best TV Sports Journalism category. Alexandra Richards is from Cardiff Metropolitan University, and the judges said her report, The Summer That Sport Stood Still, is a bold and ambitious attempt to capture the impact of COVID-19 on sport. They said she delivers strong interviews with the personal stories that lie behind the headlines. And our second nominee is Sebastian Zani from Solent University with his piece From Ping Pong to Table Tennis. The judges highlight the exceptional technical production, describing it as creative, imaginative and slick. Let's have a look.
It's inevitable in some ways that some clubs will fold, not just in football, but I think in other sports, which obviously you don't want to see because they have such an important part to play in the community.
We are asking everyone to stay at home. Please only go out once a day to shop for basic food if you have to, and to exercise close to home.
It did kind of make you appreciate that some people do have it better off and some people don't. And I think there was kind of a rich-poor divide there when the government was like, you can only go out once a day.
My worry is that people will use the pandemic and maybe budgets as a way of getting out, maybe supporting a women's team or any kind of, I guess, minority sport, whether that's within disability or whatever.
He's recorded 6 seconds and 6 seconds 0.09, so it's really fast. And I'm mixing this with my speed exercises to help him to do something really hard and really strong and really fast with his body, but in same times he needs to keep his mind aware and focus on other things.
I know a sentence which I think it's from Bobby Fischer, the chess player, the grandmaster, and he said to play table tennis is like to play chess running 100 meters.
And the winner is... It is Sebastian Zani from Solent University with From Ping Pong to Table Tennis. Well done, Sebastian. Very well done. Fantastic. Now, our next award is for the best podcast. The first you'll hear is Living with the Lights On by Emily Naylor from Goldsmiths. And she brings us a fascinating insight into the highs and lows of someone with bipolar disorder through the story of a man confronting his undiagnosed condition. The judges highlight the way Emily cleverly combines the subject's audio with her own interview, using music and sound to creatively illustrate his journey. The second piece you'll hear is an exploration of child marriage in the UK from Nikki Peach from City University of London. The judges thought it was a well-presented, well-researched podcast, a strong and powerful piece of journalism that stopped them in their tracks. Time to hear for ourselves. And again, please be aware that there is some strong language.
It was voices, I'd hear voices, doors closing.
It was also during Mark's time in Stratford that his hallucinations steadily got worse. They manifested themselves in a very sinister form.
And I remember driving out of Stratford one day, and it's in the play.
I'd been given the afternoon off. Now let me tell you, Stratford-upon-Avon is really so
I stopped the car because it was like there was something in my head. It wasn't a headache, it was just like, fuck, I've just got to stop, fuck. And I stopped by the river.
And there I sat, on the banks of the River Avon.
And I just remember going...
And it was there.
And what I saw in my head...
There, in that idyllic setting with the sun shining so beautifully...
was this box, and the lid opened.
That I first...
And this little thing, this little demon walked out.
Met the devil.
With no trousers. And a big long shirt and horns. I thought, I've met the devil. I'm possessed.
As soon as I got married, it felt like I had a second dad. I hated every single second of it. I felt like I was a freak show that was dressed up and made up. Everything was done in a way to make me look a lot older than I was, because obviously I was 16 and I still had, my very young baby face.
This is the voice of Paisley Mahmood, who got married when she was 16 to a stranger twice her age in the UK, where this is still legal. UNICEF defines child marriage as any union between a child under the age of 18 and another person. Currently, children can legally marry at 16 or 17 with parental consent, and customary or religious weddings can involve children even younger. I spoke to campaigner and activist Paisley to hear how marriage changed her life.
To this day, 16 years on, I'm still trying to make up for that, having lost out on my education. Of course, there are things, some impact that I can't get back.
And the award for Best Podcast goes to... It's Emily Naylor from Goldsmiths University for Living with the Lights On. Congratulations, Emily.
Well done, Emily.
Really well done to you. Right, now, with just a couple of categories to go, let's have a look now at Best Online News Site. Bethany Deer from London South Bank University starts us off with her site exploring the prison system, an interest that began when her brother was sentenced. The site includes audio, video and graphics from several different sources. The judges said Bethany sets a good example of balance. Our second site looks at the challenges facing grassroots football in Kent. Joe Harbert from Canterbury Christchurch University uses a variety of media in his examination of football. The judges were particularly impressed with Joe's inclusions of surveys and quizzes, as well as a piece to camera. Here's a glimpse of what you can see on those sites.
Hello and welcome to Grassroots Football in Kent, the challenges facing those at the bottom of the sports pyramid. My name's Joe and I've created this site to explore the issues involving non-league football across the area and seeing whether there is a bright future for the likes of players, clubs and local supporters throughout Kent.
And the winner is... Oh, God. Can't actually, almost couldn't open that one. The winner is Grassroots Football in Kent from Canterbury Christchurch University's Joe Harbert. Very well done, Joe.
Well done, Joe.
Round of applause for Joe. That's great. Right, now on to our final category, believe it or not, Best TV News Day. Not the virtual version, but from a time when students were actually able to get into the studio and into the gallery. Our first entry comes from students at Bournemouth University from their news day of January the 21st, which the judges said is a strong all-round offering, demonstrating a wide range of production and programme-making techniques, including well-crafted and creatively written headline sequences to full packages. They were also impressed that there were some nicely scripted links into online platforms. This is followed by the nomination from City University of London from a newsday on January the 23rd. Judges picked up on the well-made, journalistically rigorous packages and a slick overall look and presentation style.
Dorset dancers are among those competing at the UK Dance Championships, which began earlier today in Bournemouth. The competition holds professional and amateur Latin and ballroom dancers who showcase their footwork to win the approval of the judges and the crowd. Our reporter Emily Downs is live at the Big.
Cha-cha-cha, Ross, that's all I can say for you right now. Now, I'm here at the Bournemouth International Centre where the UK Dance Championships are happening. Interestingly, some alumni from this competition include the likes of AJ and Curtis Pritchard. Now, if you want to find a bit more information about that, head on over to Buzz Online, where you can see the full interview that they have up there. Now, in the meantime, we've got all sorts of dances going on around here today, all the glitz and glamour. It was the wrong day to really wear a grey blazer for me, wasn't it? So, in the meantime, let's have a chat with what's going on. So, guys, tell me who you are and how you're finding Bournemouth.
Hi, my name is Alexander Kravchuk.
And I'm Olesya Gitko.
I'm coming from Ukraine.
At a first glance, these colourful lights may just look like some leftover Christmas decorations in a tree. But actually, these lights are designed to represent the multicultural world we live in. This installation, along with 25 others dotted around Canary Wharf, are part of the Winter Lights Festival. Returning for 2020, this year's festival features even more installations from all over the globe, many of which have hidden meanings and messages. And it's proving popular with those who are coming to see it.
I think what makes this special is it being in the public arena that's open to anyone. You don't have to go into a gallery, you can just walk around and see these amazing pieces of light sculpture.
And this is one of those pieces. It's called Time and Tide.
It's a large steel structure and consists of nearly 1,000 paper straws, which allude to the urgency of current environmental issues, in this case particularly plastic pollution.
And it's not just the visual benefits that the festival is bringing. This is the bra tree.
They were the best outwords ever, weren't they? And the winning honours go to... it is Bournemouth University. Big congratulations to the whole team from BA Multimedia Journalism, Seminar Group B. And it's very important that it is Seminar Group B. Well done to those guys. Absolutely. Right, it's time now for the final award of the night, one that comes with the big bucks. That's a £500 prize. So, Freddie, tell us a little bit more about this one. This is the Steve Harris Award.
Yeah, Steve had been involved in the BJTC for many years. Indeed, he's the architect of the organisation we know today. This acknowledges his contribution, and what it looks for is originality, endeavour and excellence. And my colleague, Louise Minchin, is here to announce the winner.
This has been an academic year like no other. Our winners and nominees have produced incredible work under the most unusual of circumstances. It's a tribute to the students and staff from every institution that once again the work submitted has been such a high quality. The Steve Harris Award recognises the best of the best. The citation is for exceptional storytelling, originality, endeavour and impact. Therefore, it's appropriate in an unprecedented year that this award is also unprecedented. Journalism is about teamwork. A successful TV, radio, or online product is the work of many different parts. The winner demonstrates that with exclusive content, well explained, that had a national impact. For the first time, the recipient is a team, not an individual. So I'm delighted to reveal the Steve Harris Award goes to the BA Journalism class at the University of South Wales for their virtual news day. Well done, congratulations.
Yeah, well done, absolutely. Well done to you guys. And so just tell us what it was that really stood out from this entry.
The winner broke a story that was picked up by the national press. I think you and I, when we both did our own respective journalism courses, would have dreamed of landing a story like that had national impact. But it wasn't just the story on its own. It's the fact that how they told it, how they explained it, the context they put around it, the interviews they did with it, the production that went into it. It was a fantastic team effort in a year that has been a real challenge for all students on all courses. And for them, they should be incredibly proud.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing work. Let's take another quick look at what they did.
We start off here in Wales, where one of our fellow students has been hitting the headlines by breaking a story in The Sun that's caused a huge amount of political debate. The Welsh Health Minister was accused of breaking his own lockdown rules. Our political reporter, Dan Moffat, has been following the story.
So a controversial story to come out of Wales last week was the article in a national newspaper showing Welsh Health Minister Vaughan Gething having a picnic. Now, the person who broke the story to the national newspaper was our first-year journalism student, Emily Price. So, Emily, first of all, just tell me how you covered the story.
A member of the public actually sent me the photo of Vaughan Gething, of him in Cardiff Bay having a picnic with his family. And after I spoke to her, she explained to me that he was there for maybe 15, 20 minutes. And he must have been there for longer than that because he was already there when she arrived. So after I give her a little interview with her, she explained to me what she'd seen. I looked at the photo and I just thought this is in the public's interest to know.
Well, I am delighted to say that we can now welcome Emily Price, the journalist who broke this story. Hello, Emily, can you hear us?
Maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Ooh. I think we might have a slight delay on timing here, because I don't know if she's looking. Is that Emily looking up? Emily, can you hear us?
Well, I am delighted to say.
Emily?
Welcome, Emily Price, the journalist. Hello,
oh.
Emily, can you hear us?
Hello.
Oh, great. Okay, so Emily, I'm going to try now if you can hear me. I just want to get your reaction to winning.
Yeah, no, I can't believe it. I mean, when we won the first time, that was great for us, but the second time as well, we're so happy.
Fantastic. And when did you realise you had such a big story on your hands?
It was when I was speaking to my friend and she said that she had this photo and we sort of talked about it for a bit. And at first it was kind of like, oh, maybe he was just out with his friends, out with his family. But when we talked about it and thought about it properly, we thought, hang on, he probably shouldn't have been doing that. So my lecturers really helped me with it. I was really shocked when it ended up being, in the paper that it got into.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's one of those ding ding moments in journalism when you know that you realise you've got a big story. Freddie, I don't know who the chair of the judges is with me, Emily. I'm just going to ask him if he wants to say anything to you.
You should be incredibly proud of it. I nearly marked you down for the fact that you didn't come to the BBC with the scoop, but it's an incredible effort. But to be honest, it wasn't just the scoop on its own. That was a fantastic achievement, but it was how you all worked as a team together. What sort of conversations did you all have when you were putting that news day together?
I think somebody came up with the idea that should be, the top news story that we used. Dan Moffat, who was interviewing me in that clip, he was really great. And we talked about what questions that we should cover. And yeah, everyone just came together and it was brilliant. The way it turns out, considering that we're in a pandemic and we've had to do this from at home, it turned out absolutely brilliantly.
Fantastic. And Emily, I just wonder, what ambitions do you have for when you finish at university?
Well, I just wanted to be a writer, but to be honest, this year I'm starting to change my mind a bit, and I'm really getting into broadcast more.
I would say that there is potentially some broadcasting on your horizon for sure. And finally, is there anyone you want to kind of say anything to, any messages you want to put out there?
Becky Leach and Craig Hooper, they've been so great since lockdown has happened. They've just been brilliant for us, our lecturers.
Fantastic. That's lovely. That's a nice way to end. So, Emily, thank you very much. Congratulations to you. Well done. And well done to all of the team there in South Wales. Absolutely fantastic work. Freddie and I will now clap again. There you go. Fantastic. There you are. Oh, look, I like the bunting and the balloons. That's fantastic. Good effort, guys. Yeah, do things properly there. Absolutely. OK, right. Well, that is almost unbelievably all we have time for. We have come to the end of it after a very exciting afternoon, and it really has been fun, hasn't it?
A round of applause for you.
Yeah. And thank you very much. Yeah. And thank you to Freddie, the editor of BBC Breakfast and the chair of the judges this year, for keeping me company, because it would have been really lonely sitting here on my own with my gold cards all by myself. Right, it has been an absolute pleasure to share these awards with you, and congratulations to each and every one of you who was nominated today. Once again, the BJTC Awards remind us that the talent coming into our industry, COVID-19 or not, is as strong as ever, thanks to the quality and standards of our journalism courses. A big thank you to all of the BJTC's industry partners, the BBC, ITV, Sky News, Global, ITN, Channel 4, AP, Reuters, Bauer, and the NUJ for continuing to play such an important role in making UK journalism courses some of the best in the world. Oh, that was a long sentence to finish that. For those of you with invitations to the after party, you have just enough time to grab a drink, and we'll see you there in 5 minutes' time. Congratulations again to everyone, and I wish you all the very best for your future careers. Bye-bye.